And we are live. Welcome to Rice TVX and the latest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Today is October the 22nd in the year of 2021, 10/22/2021. And I'm going to be watching Dune tonight. Looking forward to that. This is Crypto Rewind. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Satoshi Sean, and our guest is Seth from Mine Your Biz. We're going to give everybody time to get situated and get into today's stream. Appreciate you joining. Smash that like button. And before we begin, a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVX, and you can find information down below in the video description for BitSwap DEX for pre-search it, and Monarch.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
And we are currently live streaming on both Rice TVX and Rice TVX2. So make sure you're subscribed to both channels. Information is below in the video description so that you can make sure you're subscribed to both. I would encourage you to make sure you subscribe to Rice TVX2 because you never know when Rice TVX will get another strike, and I will be putting out content on Rice TVX2. That's the whole point of the backup channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys joining today's live stream, and I'm going to give everybody time to get into the stream. So if you're watching us on a replay and you want to skip all the stuff until we get to the show, I would say go to about the 5-minute mark. I've got a sponsored segment that I really quickly want to share some information for. So this is a sponsored part of the video. Information is below in the video description. Let me go ahead and pull up some information here. What we got going on is a project. This actually looks like a really cool project. It's called either Vampire or V-Empire, the front line in the fight against centralization. This is the first protocol of its kind enabling collateralization of metaverse assets via DeFi services, dual yield farming, NFTs, and democratic DAO. That's what the DDAO is. So they have integrations and partnerships with Polygon, Chainlink, and more. And I encourage you to go check out their website, v-empire.digital, v-empire.digital. They also have a Medium article that I would really encourage people to check out. This highlights 5 things that separate Vampire or V-Empire from other cryptocurrency and blockchain platforms and protocols. And there's a lot of good information on their website as well. You can check out, they have an NFT handbook, a white paper, and a 1-pager. And then you can also click up here at the very top right, top left on the screen, and you'll see all these other links for like the team, partners, how to contact, and where you can find them on social media. So this Medium article, why V-Empire, the DDAO, the Democratic DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, and what we are building is bigger than anybody's comprehension. So I encourage you to read this on your own time. I'm not going to be able to go over everything in its entirety. But really, the VEMP token, they feel like the full utility has not been discovered by the market. They say one of the things that separates them is that there is no like for like competition. There's no single protocol in existence that's doing what Vampire is doing. And they're facilitating the staking of metaverse tokens and Ethereum to build giant war chests of assets, which will increase in scarcity, rarity, and you would expect value. The assets that they're buying range from a lot of different things that people can't afford, and this gives opportunities for people to be able to do so. The second one would be their deflation and the VEMP ownership granting access to the metaverse pools. So as existing stakers in their strategy, The tokens are locked up the first 6 to 12 months. And this is because the strategies need to build and monetize portfolios of illiquid assets like NFTs and lands, which are ERC 1155 or 721 tokens. So you can read more about that. The third that I want to highlight is the staking and profits from across the metaverse. 32 million of the 96.25 million VEMP launched at the IEO and the ILO is already in the DDAO. So you can read more information about how this works, but it basically shows that the governance for the community by staking the VEMP and allowing for gifted profits from assets in Sand, Mana, STARL, and Axie Infinity metaverses. So it's really cool. I really like this idea where you can take these NFT assets and figure out a way to utilize DeFi and stake on those assets. And the fourth one is not being limited to being stuck in their own metaverse. They're flexible. So it's kind of blockchain agnostic, which is really great. And the fifth one would be the play to earn. A lot of people are really excited about play to earn opportunities, especially in impoverished countries. I've seen a lot of success with things going on in the Philippines. So VEMP is called the V Empire Gamer token for a reason, and Vempire's first game is aptly named The Beginning. Our play to earn and gamification only starts with our current trading card game, and we've already been contacted by and are working with tokens with bigger market caps than us to implement their own steps into the metaverse, utilizing Vempire's expertise with profits as well. Profits is always set to be redistributed to stakers and the DDAO. And I'll also encourage you, not only to read the entirety of this article, especially if you're excited about the metaverse, which is a huge trend right now in cryptocurrencies. Also check out their Twitter, which is V Empire Digital or Vampire Digital. And you can keep up with all the news, all the information, saying that it's the first protocol of its kind, enabling collateralization of metaverse assets via DeFi services and dual yield staking, NFTs, and a democratic DAO. Very cool. Very, very cool. So now, real quick, I got a quick ad that I will be playing from Rice TV X for everybody, and then we're going to go ahead and get the show started, giving everybody plenty of time to get into today's live stream. Before we get into it, make sure you visit ricetvx.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Rice TVX content. Plus, you can find my social media links, contact information, get Rice TVX merch coming soon via the shop, and more. If this is your first time ever watching any of my videos, check out and explore my channels. Make sure you subscribe to Rice TVX and Rice TVX2. Both can be found on YouTube. And hit the notification bell to get alerted to new videos. Also, you can follow me on Odyssey and Library, where I have my full catalog of videos plus extra content. And you can also find Rice TVX on BitChute. If you want to support Rice TVX and what I do directly, I have my PayPal, Cash App, plus my cryptocurrency addresses via my Cointree link below in the video description. You can also join my Patreon channel, where you will get early access to some of my videos, exclusive content, and more, with 4 different levels of membership, all offering something different. Well, first of all, that intro, that whole thing took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, so I apologize for making my homies here wait a moment. But Satoshi Sean, thank you for joining. Will you unmute yourself? Anytime now. Is that working for you? Or are we going to be silent today? It's showing that I can't.
There we go.
Yeah, because I couldn't unmute you. That was weird.
That was weird. Yeah, it would say not whatchamacallit, responding.
That is so weird. So got links for your channel down below in the video description. We do this so much that everybody should know, you're a big part of the show. Co-host, make sure you guys are going over to Sean's channel and subscribing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest this week, returning. He's been on the show before. He's been on my channel a couple times now. So Mr. Seth from Mine Your Biz, and we have links down below for his YouTube channel that I definitely encourage you to make sure you're subscribed to. So head over to his channel and check out his website. And I guess something I want to ask you real quick, Seth, before we kind of get into the news. Tell tell me about this phone that you got going on, man.
Yeah, well, hey, I appreciate you asking. It's part of I guess a push into physical products with the Mine Your Biz brand. We got asked so often, or I got asked so often, both on Clubhouse and then in various different Telegram groups, and with sort of like, I'm not going to name names, but with people who are well known in the sort of Bitcoin maximalist space, who weren't very aware of some of the steps that they could take to secure their data and to better secure their privacy. They said, hey, is there just an easy way to get a phone that I know is not spying on me? And everybody seems to think that it's just a Google thing. If you have Android, then Google is definitely spying on you. And they never pay attention to what Apple is doing, which is as bad or worse, right?
Yeah.
So, Snowden has been paying a lot of attention to what Apple's been doing. I don't know if you follow his Twitter, but yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the Electronic Frontier Foundation, human rights organizations, they all keep the receipt on Apple, and it's shady. It's bad. Apple is not they're not a squeaky clean company. They project a certain image, and it's just not the reality. So this phone, the Mine Your Biz phone, is what we're calling it. It's essentially just a Pixel device by Google. And I know that sounds weird because it's like,
well,
wait,
let me pause you, because that's the thing that when we were talking about this privately, and you were telling me, because I had looked into some, because there's a Freedom phone, and I didn't know if like maybe you had some affiliate deal with that, with the guy, I forget that young dude's name that started that project, but you had told me about Google Pixels being the best phone to decouple the Google services, which to me just made no sense.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
That it would be one of their very own devices that is the easiest to use against them.
It's usually how it works, though, man. You know what I mean? It's usually some kind of industry or some kind of company that makes something that's the best at getting rid of itself.
Yeah, no, the highest ideal for Android is that it's run on open hardware. And so it's kind of funny. Google, the company, Google, the corporation, Google, capital G Google, all the services that we've come to expect, that we know we're trading our data and our privacy away to get, is separate from the ideal of Android, which is kind of supposed to be in the spirit of like open source or like Linux, that sort of thing. Okay. So when they make those flagship devices, the Pixel, and then before it, the Nexus phones, they always made them with open, unlocked bootloaders. So you could load any software that you wanted on it, including like mobile versions of Linux if you didn't even want Android. So that's always been a design thing, a design goal for Google that is at the very top of the list, is that it's open hardware that developers could use to make these phones be, have them be used in a more flexible way. So it's weird. Like you start with that premise of like, well, it's made by Google, so it's got to be evil, right? And it's like, oh, you got to slow down there. On the hardware side, when they started in the consumer products category, Google didn't really have a retail strategy. They didn't really have a plan to go to market and become like a success with Chromebooks and phones and stuff. It just kind of happened accidentally.
Right.
But for the phones, because they were spearheading Android, and you had, Samsung and HTC and LG and all these other companies, Sony and the rest, that were making handsets, they had to create a reference design. And now the Pixel is still that reference design. It really does. It winds up winning awards for camera quality and screen and battery and all that stuff. But then it also has that open, unlocked bootloader that allows you to install other software. But what makes it more special than that, because there are other handset manufacturers that allow for the loading of third-party OSs like Lineage OS, which is basically what Eric Finman and Clearphone or ClearOS did.
Eric Finman is the guy who was doing Freedom. He's calling it Freedom Phone. That's why, because I think originally you were calling yours Freedom Phone.
Yeah, and that's whatever.
And then literally, I thought maybe you had done some affiliate deal. And then after talking to you, because it doesn't seem like that Chinese-made phone is very freedom-oriented.
It's very much not. It happens to share one characteristic with the phone that we offer, and that is that it has an unlocked bootloader. But that's where the similarities end. The software that it runs was developed by an entirely different group. and it's called Lineage OS. And what that group has done in calling it the Freedom Fund is basically given it sort of like a coat of paint, if that makes sense. It's not very different.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. And this phone, where it differs and where, in my opinion, it's much better for the cryptocurrency person, is that we relock the bootloader so that nobody can just, walk up with a data cable and, black hat their way into your phone by having physical access to the device.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely would like to maybe bring you on like a separate time and talk specifically about like that and privacy and encryption when it comes to devices. I think that would be a good education for lots of people.
I think it's something everybody's looking for, man.
Yeah, I agree. So you can go to MineYour.Biz to be able to get more information on Seth's website and services, including the phone and his shop, and then the Mine Your Biz YouTube channel, and then Satoshi Sean's YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to both and check out the website. So let's go ahead. I want to try to keep this as close to ending around 8-ish as possible.
Can we say what Jesse said? Is that all right?
What do you mean, Jesse? In chat?
Yeah, I've heard rumors that they're going to start censoring that on.
I don't. Oh, hold on. What, those words?
Yeah, those words. I heard that they're going to start censoring them as hate speech.
Was there a song made out of it or something?
It's the #1 song. It's the #1.
Right. And I think it became illegal in Canada.
No way. They made a song illegal.
I think so.
Wait till it goes to Australia, man. They're going to start busting out the batons. Tear gas.
I wonder if that's going to be like a looked at,
will you sing it?
Like as a protest song?
Will you sing it instead of and replace that B word with Bitcoin? Can you sing it for us, Sean?
Ooh, sounds like it would jinx it. I don't want to. It sounds jinxy.
I never heard.
I think that would make
the price drop. Sing, so I think that would be great.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want you falling in love with me any more than you already are, buddy.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't argue with Sean's bull run logic there too. You got to be careful. Yeah. Careful with what you with how you invoke Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's mojo, man. I don't know. I don't want to tie it to that. I could just see it, and then this will go viral. Of course, you'll get tons of subscribers and views, and I'll just get hate. Fucking broke Bitcoin.
It's all right. I mean, you're scared to go outside.
I'm not scared to go outside. I'm going to go out to dinner on Wednesday and then go to the movies.
Yeah.
And I'll send you pictures, you asshole.
He
send him pictures when I went to my nephew's birthday. When he goes outside. He made me send him pictures when I went to my nephew's birthday in Austin.
And none of the pictures were outside. They were all inside.
I went from my house, in my truck, drove over to Austin. He's like, oh, it doesn't count. What, I think I materialized there?
I don't know that you drove.
I actually didn't have my son drive, but that's not the point.
See, so you already lied.
So no, I didn't. I said I got my truck. It was in my truck.
You went from a home into a vehicle into another home.
I like the scenery when we drive through the hill country, right? So that's why I had him drive.
Hill country is legit beautiful. I mean, it's chef's kiss, second to none.
Thank you very much.
Just saying, man. Bandera and like those surrounding areas. It's charmed place.
Word. All right. Well, I don't even really want to go into like any discussion about this. I just want to highlight that we have, it's been a very historical week for Bitcoin. We've had ETFs launched and we've hit all-time highs again. So if you want to comment on the all-time high stuff, that's cool. We can integrate it into the Flash Crash combination because, this was kind of interesting. When I was on BitBoys around a blockchain earlier, we were talking about this and a lot of interesting perspectives about what happened with this quick flash crash. But I'd love to get like your guys' thoughts. So Sean,
I think this is kind of for me, it's like you look at the last story and it's like, we've arrived. We were here when there was like, thousands of people involved in Bitcoin, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. And now it's, everyone's involved, everyone's into it. But then when you look at how thin the books are because of, and it is true, man, because of all the shit that everyone has to go through, and I can't use Binance US. You know, many states can't, so we can't even put our money on it. I would use Binance US if I could, but I can't because I'm in Texas, and Texas doesn't allow it. And they're like strict. I've tried to scam my way in there, and there is just no way.
So your VPN doesn't work, is what you're saying?
No. Your VPN can get you on, but then to do anything, they want a picture of your driver's license, and then they say, "Hey, bro, it says Texas on your driver's license." Sorry.
Hey,
and I had a
bro.
Canadian phone number. I had a Canadian address. I mean, I have tried pretty hard, so I can get to the last step. But unless I have a fake ID, I can't do it, and that's going too far for me.
That is just hilarious.
But I think that puts us back in perspective, that the order books are still so thin that that's able to be done. You know what I mean? So we still have a lot of room to grow.
It was basically inferred that it was a liquidity crash, which just basically means that they ran out of liquidity. They're trying to blame it on an institutional investor who has some sort of bug in algorithmic trading, like a bot. But I feel like there should have been some sort of security protocols or something set in place by the exchange itself.
If you're talking about Binance, yeah, Binance should have enough money invested in their U.S. platform. It seems like they don't think it's that important. So hopefully this gets talked about, they get embarrassed, and then they make sure to have that covered a bit more. But I think that the good news is that this really shows, especially in the United States, there's so many people that are not buying Bitcoin, that are not involved yet, that can still get into it, which flows into everything else we're going to talk about with the ETF and all.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Mind your biz.
I mean, hey, I'm not saying that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy did it, but they do live in the same country where Binance US operates. So
yeah, but I don't think anybody was actually able to purchase Bitcoin at that price. I think, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, and if somebody knows different, please comment. But it was maybe 50,000, might have been like around the low price that somebody was able to actually take advantage. I mean, it was really quick that it happened.
Well, if you had orders in, they would get hit, they'd get filled.
Yeah, these are just jokes, by the way. Also, Michael Saylor, please do not sue me. These are jokes. So yeah, as far as like the whole news cycle and seeing this flash crash to 8,500, first off, like, yeah, if an order could get filled, gosh darn it, why wasn't it mine, right? Like, that would have been amazing, right? A little $8,500 Bitcoin, grab a couple extra full coins for the stash there. But like, it does kind of, in my mind, news like this, yeah, on the one hand, maybe the books are too thinly traded. Maybe we've got serious problems here stateside because of overreach and overregulation that's obstructing the ability of Americans to participate in this market, and sucks to be us. But on the other hand, it just underscores why we need decentralized protocols like Thorchain so much more, right? Like, go to the decentralized protocols. They're permissionless, just the way that Bitcoin was designed to be. You don't there's so much about regulation still in 2021. It sounds crazy that we're even having a conversation about how little clarity there is from a regulatory perspective, such that, like, yeah, we were just now getting the first ETFs. They were applied for in 2013, and we're just now starting to get some. Like, okay,
we've created workarounds. I almost said reach arounds. We've created
We haven't
created workarounds, so there's already ETF like stuff. And there's already, I think, an ETF or two in Canada. So
not in the US. I was gonna say these aren't available in the US as far as I'm aware. Not the workaround, reach arounds that you're talking about.
Well, no, there was other funds. There's where you could it was similar to an ETF, and there was a couple ways to do that. So like we had said before, I thought we completely outgrew this, and we have as a space, but there's still those people out there, which we're getting into that story, that just won't do anything until it's an actual legitimate ETF.
There's some strong reasons for that, and it's funny. I've got some stuff in the works for friends and family. It's not like public facing stuff. I'm not going to make content about this, but some documents that I'm working on, just outlining the various investment vehicles that we're fond of here in the United States, or that we have to use here in the United States to protect our investments moving into retirement age, from overly heavy taxation. And unfortunately, yeah, ETFs, they are essential for that sort of stuff. Structuring your retirement accounts so that you're prepared. Like, you have to have custodians and you have to have ETFs. Unfortunately, it'd be so cool if we just had better inheritance laws that and trusts and such that acknowledged that part of your property, right? You might have a physical heirloom, right? Some rare coin that you're going to pass along to your posterity. It'd be so much cooler if here in the United States we were just able to say, yeah, seed phrase or Bitcoin, same category, just goes to your kids.
Well, this
Easy.
is something me and you could talk about privately, and then once I have a little bit more information, I can go a little bit more public with it. But there are a lot of different trust aspects that you can create to protect your assets, and they won't be, they basically are going to be non-taxable.
Yeah.
So you own nothing, and you put it all in trusts. And if you do it correctly in the right way, you're good to go.
Also, if you use the annuities, or there's ways to use insurance to your advantage on that too.
Yeah, sure. I guess what I was referring to is like retirement accounts, the stuff that people are typically thinking about when they're, when you're a working stiff and you're trying to put away money that you would otherwise maybe be enticed to put into cryptocurrencies. How do you make the money, like the spending money that you would normally put in like a 401k? How do you get it working for you towards retirement in Bitcoin? And unfortunately, part of that equation, right? Your 401k, your IRAs, the Roth instruments, all that stuff. Unfortunately, without giving legal advice, right? None of us here does CFP work.
You can do Bitcoin IRAs, and I mean, very similar to what you would do with an IRA with gold and silver as well.
Yeah, well, especially in Texas with that, the stuff that the governor passed, because IRA is really it's just a piece of tape with the word IRA on it, and you stick it on a certain kind of investment, any investment. So you get the tax break and all that. So once banks had custody of it, you could literally have a savings account and then designate it as an IRA here in Texas if you were using like credit union or something like that.
Sure. What I'm getting at is that at that point to then show the proper chain of custody so that it holds up to, so that the veil of legality holds up in the.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys.
And all that. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, this has been one of the more frustrating things in cryptocurrency for years. This has been, touted as, this is going to be the savior of crypto. This will take it mainstream. This will give us adoption. This is the blah, blah, blah. And it never happened. Every time it was put off, it was put off, it was put off. And then this time it went through. How much do you think of that is owed to the fact that states like Texas and Wyoming, and they're like, screw it, we're doing it, and it's working. So, do you think the SEC just finally put their hands up and like, it's going to happen? You know what I mean? We'll just do it.
No, I think you're totally right. I really do. I think that in particular, states like Wyoming pushing for to recognize, for example, corporate formations like a DAO, right? Like they're going to go in front of federal courts and they're going to argue if you form a DAO within a corporate structure, right, regardless of how it's taxed or whatever, the state of Wyoming is going to go to the federal level and defend your DAO as though it's a legal entity. Stuff like that didn't happen. It wasn't available before. So I think you're right. The additional measures that are being taken in Texas, and then the extremely especially mining and infrastructure friendliness of Texas, I think you're right. It's just created a whole new climate.
Well, what do you think about the idea too that they're trying to also offer up this now because of not only the growth in institutional, but also the retailer side? And if people are more invested in the ETF, they may not actually be invested in the underlying asset, which is Bitcoin itself. So it may also be a strategic way of trying to prevent people, because until the ETF was available, other people's choices were the futures or actually physically owning. Having possession, whether in custodial or non-custodial situations. But so it could have because that's the cool thing about, that's the interesting thing about some of these news is there could be some double-edged sword parts to some of these that just aren't necessarily 100% great. It's like, at this point, did we really even need it? It does have its use case and it can be utilized, but would we have been fine without it? We
were both talking about this, and we were both, we're just tired of it. We're tired of the the ETF bullshit.
Yeah, but the only thing that got me excited
but
was
you know what? No, hold on, let me tell you what
the BTFD ticker. That made
what
me
actually
excited.
what actually convinced me when I looked at this. I had this theory. I call it the Tesla effect. There's been electric cars forever. There's been Tesla has been around for a long time, but electric cars haven't taken off. They haven't exploded, and until like Ford or GM is going to make them, and they're coming out with a whole line of them. I'm probably going to buy an F-150 because it's very very reasonably priced. They're cheaper than you would believe, but I think people were waiting for this familiarity for Ford or for GM to come out with it, and now it's fine. That's like their approval. I think people just wanted and needed, some people, an actual ETF approved. They don't want to work around. They don't want to own the weird internet money in some other way. This is the only thing they're comfortable with. This is what they're waiting for. There's those people out there, and when I thought about, Tesla versus, because Tesla's like, people think of it as a space car and it's a computer, but a Ford F-150 that's fully electric, yeah, that's I'll get that. And I think a lot more people than I thought have that mentality when it comes to the ETF. So I do think this is going to be a big deal, bigger than I thought. But we do not really need it. But then we really do for those people because they're not going to get involved without it.
But I mean, would they be forced if they really wanted to, and they're looking to jump ship because the ship is sinking and there's no ETF, so they're going to have to buy the physical items? I mean, that's where I kind of feel like the double-edged sword. But it is opening up a lot of opportunities. It's really surreal when I saw some stuff from Charlie Shrem because he started the first Bitcoin cryptocurrency exchange in New York, and he was on Wall Street Tuesday and saw everything like very publicly available from a street, and just talking about how surreal it was from the time that he's gotten involved in cryptocurrency, the things that he's done and where we are today. So it is interesting. And again, I'm super, super excited that we've kind of got some like degen kind of behavior with the Valkyrie Bitcoin strategy ETF, which was supposed to originally be BTF, which really original. They changed it at the last minute to BTFD, and I'm assuming it's by the fucking dip.
Oh yeah, it is. I think in the article that you sent over, it seems like they had somebody on their advisor team or somebody in the exec team that just kind of like clued in everybody else, like, hey, if you make that one letter change, everyone's gonna love you. We're gonna be like retail kings.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it makes me excited. Like, I actually want to own some by the fucking dip. I might start a dip company and call it that.
What kind
chips.
Of dip? Like,
like for chips,
dip in your lip, or
for your reach around.
Oh my gosh, good feeling gone. I was thinking like queso, man, and now I'm like, ugh. No.
Another thing that I thought was interesting was how now that the ETFs are being approved, and we'll see a lot more of these, obviously, but Grayscale is wanting to convert its Bitcoin trust over to an ETF, and obviously, that's going to open the door for Ethereum ETFs and potentially other ETFs as well. But I mean, do you guys think that the ETF is going to affect the bottom line price, like how the futures kind of can affect the price?
No. To answer your question as directly as possible, I think that the ETFs will not maintain parity to the native asset. So I think there will be issues, that there will be discrepancies, right, and possibly even arbitrage opportunities in the same way that GBTC right now gives investors it gives them a good arbitrage opportunity, but only if they can actually claim the native asset. Right, like they're unrealized gains for most people, and they're talking about how like, oh, look at this, look at the alpha. The alpha is in buying GBTC because look at the discount you get on Bitcoin. It's like, cool story, bro. When are you going to call that? When are you going to call it in and actually get the coins? Nobody ever does.
No, I mean it's almost like how the silver and gold markets are when the COMEX, and if people were to cash out and try to actually redeem for all of the physical gold and silver, it's not going to be available to them. Just like I mentioned before on around the blockchain, if same our exchanges are very much like our fractional reserve banking. I don't believe that if a good 50%, maybe it's a good number of customers withdrew their funds, that the exchange is going to actually have all the funds that are supposed to maybe people have. I feel like,
yeah, I think more investigation should have been going into that since we had the last little shortage like a year or two ago. I mean, because people started to get their silver and their gold from custody, and it wasn't their silver and it wasn't their gold, and I mean that's like the easiest thing to prove. And if you bought gold in 2004, and you bought silver, and then you get silver that's stamped 2018, that's not your silver that was in custody.
Here's something I didn't know. Okay, so the CEO of Valkyrie Funds is Leah Wald. She used to work with Tone Vase.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was on Tone's show like a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. It was when and I hate that I can't remember his name. It's a gentleman who was a trader and he passed away. He's an older gentleman.
Oh shoot.
Oh, Benedict Arnold.
Don't be an asshole, man. That's
Oh,
disrespectful.
you tell me don't be an asshole. You reach around.
Yeah, but we're talking about somebody who's dead.
Benedict Arnold's dead. Yeah, he was a traitor. You said the guy was a traitor.
Okay, asshole.
he might. There might be a silent D
Texas
in there.
talk. He's a traitor, not a traitor.
A traitor.
A traitor or a trader. Traitor. No, I get you, but yeah, Leah Wald. So I mean, she's in touch with the cryptocurrency space. So I mean, it may not have been an inside person because she's already kind of inside, but it was to me like a great move to do this. When it comes to Grayscale, I'm not a fan though. Regardless, I'm not a fan of anything that the digital currency group has their
They actually scare the shit out of me.
hands on.
They scare the shit out of me. They have I forget what the percentage is, but they have a giant percentage of all the Bitcoin. I mean, like a scary amount.
Last year they were buying up Bitcoin faster than miners could produce it. Those were scary times.
Do they own more than Sailor?
I think
it seems like they
own more than anyone else.
But it's not theirs. It's not all theirs. I mean, because it's part of a trust. And if you own part of the trust, then you are a part owner of said asset. So it's because it's a custodial service in that aspect, right?
That's the nominal function of a trust, yes.
Okay.
But when it gets that big and when it becomes an institution, it fights to protect itself.
Right.
Yeah, and then you're also talking reality versus, you're pulling a Sully. Well, no, that's the way it is. Like, no, that's the way it's supposed to be.
It's just
you just got to go in and tell the judge that this is how it is, and you walk out and like, no.
Right.
You talking about Eric?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
I want since I'd like to I think we're pretty good at the ETF stuff. I'd like to move on because this is kind of right up Seth's alley. Me and Sean have talked about this in the past, this kind of idea, and I want to kind of get your thoughts, Seth, in regards to Bitcoin mining making the U.S. as the industry leader after what they're saying is a China crackdown.
But I think that this changed a lot of morons' ideas in Washington. This was a wake-up call where they finally saw the bringing money into the country, bringing this industry into the country. I think this is what showed them, because a lot of things changed in Washington, and a lot of attitudes changed, and a lot of what they were talking about changed when this happened. I think they could see the jobs being brought in. I think they could see the money that was coming in. I think that did so much more good than we originally thought that it would when it came to changing those people's outlook on it.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
I agree. So, Bryce, there's a really great graphic, a little great infographic at the bottom of this page from the article you sent over from Yahoo Finance, and this kind of illustrates for the audience.
This one here.
Yeah, that one. If you're able to on your browser, if you hit Control and then the plus key, you'll be able to zoom in on that a little bit too. You should be able to,
I
pop a
think I
little
can
higher.
zoom in. Just is that not working?
It doesn't. Their animation's a little bit broke, but it'll do
Where's
full
my
page zoom.
freaking plus sign? Here we go.
Oh,
it goes.
oof.
Oh,
Yeah, it started to go the other way. Sorry, it's like the Dao De Ching said. It became.
How do I go the other way? Press the minus.
Yep.
Okay.
Heck yeah! You guys are seeing Rice turned into a hacksaw live.
I think it goes any.
Yeah,
like
it only goes
same
one step.
size.
It looks like. Sorry about
It's
that.
weird. No, it's all good.
Anyway, this kind of it shows it pretty well for people who aren't aware. There was this massive concentration of mining in China, and I mean it's not a big secret if you've been involved in Bitcoin or in cryptocurrencies for some time. But at one point, it was almost 90%, right? Centralized the mining hash rate in China, and that got people really upset, thinking that like, okay, well, are the Chinese our friends? Yeah, are they our friends? Are they our enemies? Will they change consensus? Will they collude to execute a 51% attack, which is like the worst thing that can happen to Bitcoin, actually, and any cryptocurrency is to have some kind of a consensus attack that allows the attacker to double spend or like basically print money out of thin air.
Right.
And so a lot of people were worried about that. But like Satoshi Sean is saying right now, the fact that 42% of it is now here stateside and 0% is in China means that if you were worried about China and having to be some kind of political motive for deep sixing the Bitcoin network or any other network that they mine to, well, that's put to rest, right? It's put to bed. But now with 42% coming to the United States, hopefully we see more senators across more states here take more ownership and fight harder to try to attract that talent of people who know how to run these data centers over to their states. And they try to make it competitive again. States like California, we already knew this, right? Most of us already knew this. But states like California, they've been dead men walking for years because of the way they treat businesses. And with the economies of scale and with the incentives that are inherent in like Bitcoin mining and in coin production in blockchain,
right?
States like California, they're not even gonna like. Nobody will even bother to send them the memo that they're A, not ever going to do business there, and B, if they ever were doing business there, they're just going to bounce. So yeah, hopefully it becomes more competitive in the states that are taking this thing seriously and know how to attract talent and money.
Well, let me ask you this, man. This is kind of a tinfoil hat theory of mine. Because when you say that there was 90% of the Bitcoin mining was concentrated in China, if you look at just that, how much of it was concentrated in the Three Gorge Dam area, which was also was kind of hazardous for having that kind of equipment. It could be very detrimental and cost a lot of money if there was issues. How about if China made this look like they didn't want it in their country in those aspects, and really what happened is it's still theirs. They just redistributed it. And now they're using other countries and their other countries' resources to be able to do this. Because how many of these mining facilities in Texas have Chinese ownership or Chinese investors?
That's a great question. Yeah, as far as
Kazakhstan is obviously working with China. So to me, that's just outsourcing their mining out of their country, not messing with their natural resources and putting them in other countries and taking away from other countries in those aspects. Does that make sense?
It totally does make sense. And to your point, like to confirm your point, Bitmain was they were shopping around in the state of Washington here stateside years ago and in Texas as well. So Bitmain has had a very heavy interest. And for anybody in the audience who doesn't know, Bitmain is the company that creates the mining hardware that's used to secure the Bitcoin network. And
like the
creates the mining hardware, uses it, and then sells it as brand new.
After it's becoming, after they have a newer model that's faster out, then that way they're always they always have the top advantage with their
right.
But I think
they're known bad actors.
Either they have their own Texas facility or have partial ownership or stock.
Well, they do have their own Texas facility. It's massive.
Okay.
But
So
here's
and
the
that's
thing:
and that's
they're here.
that's a Chinese company.
Well, yeah, but those Chinese companies are pretty heavily regulated and watched.
I just look. I feel
So
like
if they're wanting to do something nefarious,
the CCCP is just infiltrating itself in all these different nations. It's almost like what happened at the end of World War II, and the distribution of the ISAN, which is a backwards word for. I think ISAN's right. I was trying to do it quick off my top of my head, but
That's a good one, man. We got to get creative these days in media production. That's really good.
yeah, we had this banana demic, and they're trying to make people take vacations because of it. Yeah, so it's using these odd terminologies, and people are scared of the 4-H technology that's going around.
Yeah.
good God, man.
Here's the thing, man. Yeah, what's old is new again. I mean, he who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Yeah.
And all these people with like a fat birth theory, thinking that something's not round, but yeah, it's fat birth. So yeah.
Yeah. So to your point, though, I mean, as a segue, yeah. So for Chinese companies moving outside of China and keeping the hash rate apparently decentralized, but just not local to China, that's totally happening.
But that's so not China. China is like iron fist, not, hey, let's put it in Texas where so much could go wrong.
We are going into a modern age and things are a changing. Okay, not everybody is staying the same. And honestly, if the CCP wanted to be a dominant power, then that's what they would exactly do.
Potentially, but
and they were gearing themselves towards that prior to the Trump. I know it wasn't supposed to be political, but before the Trump administration, there was a push for de-dollarization. That you had the BRICS nation banks, Russia, India, China, Brazil, all these countries working, Middle Eastern countries working, Venezuela, all working against the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, I think in the case of Brazil, I don't think that they're after former Eastern Bloc money because they've been financially sovereign for years. They haven't needed outside intervention, and so for countries like Brazil, right, any push to be de-dollarized is more a push for sovereignty and independence. So I will just throw that out there, that taking a little bit of exception with that country, but specifically that one. The rest, you're probably right. Is it a cabal? Is it mean-spirited? Is the intent to try to infiltrate the rest of the world? On some level, yes, but our parents' Cold War is not being fought the same now. And I think I think he's right when it comes to certain industries coming here. We've seen, in every iteration of Cold Wars between world powers, that defection does happen. And generally speaking, a really strong incentive for defecting is prosperity, wealth, doing well, and not having a regime keep you under their thumb. So, I mean, if
good points,
if this is maybe if we get them a taste of that Texas freedom, who knows?
Jesse makes a good point, which we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, but look at Jimmy Song.
That Australia partnered with India as far as a defense pact against China. China was extremely pissed, so they punished Australia. They're gonna crush Australia under their boot and not buy any more of their coal, which backfired because China didn't have enough coal and they couldn't get coal anywhere near the price of the Australian coal or the quality. Australia immediately found other buyers for their coal. So they didn't have the resources to run all their power plants. Immediately.
That would make sense too. With
it wasn't like over time. I mean, 80% or something of their coal came from Australia. So they were like, we're giving you billions of dollars.
And at the same time, all this is happening, they're happening to move an industry that's sucking up electricity and
huge amount of electricity, right?
Wow.
And if they thought, we can do this, cut the electric consumption, and still have some kind of control, which is I would agree in Eastern Bloc states, of course, and people that are colluding with them. But I think it makes no freaking sense to come to the United States. There's no way, especially with
I'm telling
all
you,
the
the missing link is Jimmy's song.
And dude, just get off Jimmy's song, will you?
He's like the evolution of the in between. He's
the missing link.
He is the Asian cowboy.
And also, if you look at stuff that, I mean, no one's untouchable. Justin Sun wasn't untouchable. Jack Ma wasn't untouchable. No one's untouchable. So when
if China tells you, hey, you need to move your mining business out of the country because one, we have this power issue, and two, we want to distribute what's going on, then you're going to listen. Yeah, and at the same time, everything's
but like you said, when they're out, they have 70-80% of their hardware out of the country. They have their business here legitimately. Why not just say, okay, you know what? We were sent over. And then imagine what would happen if they came forward with that. It just spilled the beans on the plan, like in front of Congress.
Well,
the protection that U.S. miners would get from the government would be unbelievable.
Oh, I think you're right. I think if at the federal level, if more of the powers that be here in the United States, across all of Capitol Hill, if they understood the system of value creation that has migrated here to the United States, if they understood it better, yeah, they would be treating it like national treasure. They would be treating it like the new Fort Knox. I agree 100%. If they really knew what China was giving up and what we could potentially stand to gain by properly securing it, and not even like over regulation, but just trying to say like, look, we want the provenance of the rest of the Bitcoin that is ever mined. We want as much of it as possible to be mined here. I mean, Canada could do the same thing, right? Like get competitive with it. But countries that are relatively good actors, right, that we trust or that we've had, previously good experiences with culturally, like if they just took that more seriously, just like I was saying before with the States,
maybe
like trying to make it attractive.
Maybe someone should go talk to me like, hey, we like have these wizards that can come and put all the gold and silver back in the ground in Nevada and California. You could have a gold rush all over again. They're just called miners. They're not wizards. And really? Okay,
we'll just do a call to action for all the wizards.
Yeah,
all the Harry Potters and all the Slytherins and
some of those people in Congress would probably, be like, oh, wizards, yeah, I remember back when I was a boy.
Okay, so I'm going to move us on to this Walmart story, which is pretty cool. Walmart's going to be deploying 200 Bitcoin ATMs in its stores. The retail giant has started a pilot program to offer shoppers the ability to buy Bitcoin at Coinstar kiosks in its stores. What I found interesting about this is I think it was a couple years ago that they started doing where you could go to like a Coinstar and take your change and get Bitcoin in return. But I think what they're doing with this is adding an actual ATM, which is kind of cool, especially in a Walmart, and it looks like it's a pilot program. So
yeah, I think it's amazing, dude.
If it does well, you're looking at more. And if you can just imagine if there were Bitcoin ATMs in at least 50 to 75% of Walmarts around the United States alone, how that would make it easier. Now, again, the thing that kind of sucks with some Bitcoin ATMs, and I'm not going to say this about all, is the fees. And generally, you're still having to do a KYC. So the reach around that Sean likes, it doesn't really work.
Oh my gosh, you guys, you're never going to live that down, Sean. I'm sorry that I'm here to witness this.
I was just about to say, no, I don't like reach arounds, but it's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, so for $500, have you stopped liking reach arounds? Yeah.
So what do you think about this, those Wally World news, Mr. Sethery? Walmart, you can like it or love it, but if you hate Walmart, something is wrong with your brain. And here's what I mean. Distribution of goods that most Americans consume is most well represented by the trade routes, right? By all of the major interstates, by all the major warehouses that are trafficked and that are used by Walmart. They represent what's actually happening in retail, not what not what the ivory tower is imagining is happening at retail. So like Apple Pay, I'm sorry, but until Walmart started accepting payments with Apple Pay and other contactless payments, they didn't really exist at retail. So every iteration of payment technology and things that have to do with finance, when they make their way over to Walmart, it winds up being an absolute
monsoon, like tsunami tidal wave of interest and of growth. Walmart really does have that kind of a gravity well. So this is huge.
Yeah, I think Walmart is so much more important than anything else, than Amazon, whatever you want to talk about.
Physical location.
Physical location. And I've said this, Walmart will come out for the Walmart coin. They could completely take over everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And I've been talking about that for years, but I don't know how it is in y'all's neck of the woods.
But imagine this,
if you work for Walmart, you can get paid in a company, and you shop at the company store. Our Walmart has an emergency room with doctors. It has, eye doctors.
Like a little city.
It has a bank. It has
like a city.
Yeah, there's everything you need. You could literally
Starbucks or a Subway.
If Walmart paid you in just Walmart dollars, and you couldn't even shop anywhere else, it was literally like the old days where it was all at the company store. You could live fine. You could go to the doctor. You could. There's nothing. So if I think this is a huge step.
No, it
is. Walmart comes out with a Walmart coin and integrates it into that, and uses a crypto throughout its ecosystem,
and then has wallets where you can exchange your Walmart coin for Bitcoin and things like that. Where you could take it out of the Walmart system, because it's not going to hurt Walmart's bottom line either way.
And they would get fees for you doing it.
So, and I mean, a 4% fee for first time people isn't really bad for what it's saying here. It says the initiative was first reported by CoinDesk, which tested the services. Customers purchasing Bitcoin insert dollar bills into the CoinDesk Coinstar kiosk and receive a voucher, which can be redeemed for Bitcoin minus a 4% fee charged by the machine. So, and they would need to set up, it's a collaboration with CoinMe. So they have to have a CoinMe account and then pass a background check to redeem the voucher. Which
4% is not bad, dude. If you're looking at like crypto.com, Cash App, Coinbase, my God.
No, I know.
When it comes to selling your Bitcoin and pulling it off, I mean, my butt would hurt sometimes.
I mean, everything. I feel like everything's going to be tokenized, and eventually we're going to see a future where your Walmart coin, instead of having gift cards, it'll be, because it's already kind of the same thing. They're just going to replace it with a cryptocurrency or a digital version, and then they can also make those coins interchangeable as well.
Yeah, and you can even sell it as like the plastic straw thing.
Trade it off. I mean? Like I need to go to Home
cards.
Depot and get rid of some of your Walmart coin and get some Home Depot coin. Maybe, there's a little arbitrage,
a swap.
Yeah, but I think I see that future coming. And so let's go ahead and move on to this last story that I find incredibly freaking bizarre, man. I don't know if you read this, Sean, but there's this coin, Worldcoin.
Yeah.
And they're going to be giving this thing away, and they're kind of comparing it to what could be like a UBI, universal basic income. And the way that you're able to get these free coins is if you let them scan your eyeballs.
Right. And then they'll throw away all the information after they encrypt it. Right.
But an eyeball, your eyeball, because I've even heard about jails doing this. So your eyeball is a unique identifier of you just as much as your fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, I don't know if it's like capturing people's real identity information. Like, it doesn't, to me, I don't think it sounds like a good idea. And I'm not going to let anybody be scanning my eyeball, my iris, and collecting that information just so I can get some free tokens that might be worth something one day. But yeah, what do you think, Sean?
Yeah, there's a lot to it, man. I mean, there's jobs where they have an iris scan.
The guy with the machine taking pictures of people's eyes.
Yeah, you just put it up there and scans your eye.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Same thing with the fingerprint, and once that's on file, it's on file. DNA. The fact that they say that they're going to encrypt it and then trash the information, it's, I don't know. And then there's stuff. I mean, we're not scientists when it comes to this shit. I don't know what they could do.
I'm a scientist.
Getting into your eye, where that shit can go, what they could do to your brain. I don't want to, Rice actually gave me a tinfoil hat. He gave me it's a cap, a baseball cap, that's lined and can withstand an EMP.
It's silver. It's silver. It's not tin.
It's the coolest fucking thing.
Big difference.
I tell people about it. Everyone's
it's
like,
it's that company Lambs. Are you familiar with them, Seth?
No, I'm not. But Sean, I was just gonna say, man, that's love. All he needs to do is get an additional layer of lead, and then you'll be impervious to X-rays too, right? Like
they have shirts, underwear.
They do.
They have sock hats, like toboggans. They have all, and it's all silver lined.
Very cool.
Yeah, you got to protect your wiener.
Which is antimicrobial, antibacterial. If people are wanting to wear a mask, a silver or copper lined mask would be a lot more beneficial, unless you have like an N95 or above. Yeah, smash them like buttons. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So who wants to get their eyeball scanned?
Dude, not I. Here's the thing, man. Like, why did they have to make that little orb thing? I don't know if you got a graphic of that. I don't think I kept
I saw it. It looked.
Yeah, I kept trying to like refresh this to get the image to pull up. I don't know why the images aren't loading.
It's probably ad block. It's probably probably the CDN that's being used that Brave use. Yeah, Brave use it as spam. They're not wrong either. It's probably totally a tracking pixel embedded in that image. But
what?
Oh yeah, CNBC. Are you kidding?
What did you call it? A tracking pixel?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Rice, we got to do that. It's that security and privacy episode. We have to.
Okay, please.
But, yeah. No.
I'm going to pull this up in Chrome and stop this screen share and see if I can get it to pull up in the other one, because I want people to see these images.
Because it's scary AF, right? You see that orb and it's like, wait, how much more tech do you have in that than say like an iPhone has to do the exact same iris scanning thing, right? It can't be that much more.
You can really watch any like a sci-fi movie from the 80s, and it's like, this is all today. We have shit better than that.
No, right? It's doing it. It's not. This is not right, because it's doing it on. I saw it earlier on my other computer.
Yeah, I saw it. It looks like kind of like a round dash cam, or
yeah. Well, it looks like some Terminator looking kind of device that would just like just put something in your anus, and you'd be like Cartman from South Park shooting out these satellites out your ass.
Not that scary. It's just a round ball.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe we'll call it HAL 21 million. So it's kind of got a it's got a crypto.
That's one of my favorite movies, man. Space Odyssey 2001.
It's got to respect the classics. It's a dope film.
And I just upgraded mine to 4K. It's like so much better.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that like when they rescan it, you see it.
Yeah. I had it in just HDX, and just like a lot of the bright scenes, like when he's old and the crystal goblet falls on the lighted floor, you can't really see, and it's like you can see the broken glass. And it was a lot, man. It was cool. I just watched it the other day.
What is the movie they changed out people's eyeballs? Do you remember?
Is that in Minority Report where he gets the eyeball?
Yeah, Minority Report was one.
Yeah, Tom Cruise got his own eyeballs.
That's one of the
transplanted.
That's when he eats that rotten sandwich. That grossed me out so bad, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
Loud.
Yeah, but man, eyeballs and orbs and tech like that, like who knows? Maybe they actually do wipe some kind of local cache. But my big question is like, okay, I'm big into open source. I'm big into at least the tech being transparent so that you're protected by using encryption and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh yeah, we'll open source what we can. It's like, okay, that's like saying like, okay, we're gonna come and take 50% of your income and gut stab you, but we'll try to leave you alive if we can.
It's like a redacted report, It's not all there.
No,
Rice, you talked to the CEO of FaceSetter, didn't you?
Who?
FaceSetter. Was that you?
No, that was Darko. You said it really fast, but I didn't hear what you said.
FaceSetter.
FaceSetter.
Face.
Sounds like
face.
This sounds like the L side of Grindr.
Face.
That's what it sounds like.
Face sitting, like that is an actual thing.
Setter. It was an ICO. It was one of the first ICOs I ever got into.
I thought it was one who face sits would be a face sitter.
They don't need an ICO for that.
Maybe it could be a breed of dog, right? That just really likes to sit on its owner's face. Face setter.
Yeah, like a pointer, but it's a face setter. Like another.
Yeah.
All right. So listen.
Did you liquidate?
They came up with this tech. Like their ICO sold out. One of the first ones, like $10 million in like 3 seconds. which I've lost so much money on that. But anyway, they have this really, really, really awesome technology. You should look it up. Face token.
Interesting.
But the things that they are able to do will scare the shit out of you, but it'll blow your mind. But if they can come in close and tight in their scans and what they see, if there was a way to integrate that with the eye shit, that would be, I think, like a next level. Just thinking about that, because I was thinking about technology and their technology, the stuff that I've seen that they can do, and the stuff that they're working on that doesn't even have to do with facial recognition or AI. It's crazy, because they're like looking at business stuff where they'll track you every time you go into, like, say, Walmart, and they'll track you all through the store what you look at. So if you look at a red shirt, then the next time you come in, they could send you right to your phone as soon as you walk in the door. Hey, you got 10% off that red shirt you looked at a week ago when you were here. I mean, there's like also with like clubs, as soon as you walk in, they can send alerts to like all the bouncers. Hey, that guy that was, acted up 6 months ago, he, right where he's at. There's like so much tracking shit, which was horrific, but I did put money into it.
That's awful, dude. I can't talk to you no more. You're gonna invest
shut
in
up.
the enemy, thinking that you're gonna profit.
But if none, I lost.
Do
I
not
lost a lot of money,
want.
dude. But I'm just.
This is the power. No, I was like,
What?
fuck you, man.
Did you actually dig him out? Oh my gosh.
As a joke, as a quick joke. I love Sean. That was fun.
Yeah,
I love the
fun
reach
times.
rounds.
What'd you say? Fudge round?
Fudge rounds are good.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah,
Seth,
yes.
we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, man. I do appreciate you accepting the invitation to come back on, and we definitely got to set up that conversation. I encourage people to go check out your channel and make sure they're subscribed, and links are down below, and check out your website, MineYour.Biz, and check out your phone that you're selling. You got any final thoughts or anything you want to add before you step out? And I appreciate it again. I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, first off, thank you. Right, like it's always fun. The show is obviously great for anybody who's like lurking and hasn't decided to take the plunge. Obviously, sub here on Rice's channel, both channels, all channels. So thank you for having me. It's always fun. And maybe a parting word to the audience, guys. Privacy matters so much. Data sovereignty matters so much, and knowing that you actually control the data that you think is yours. And really the only protection for that is knowing how to use better tools. Like, knowledge is your protection. You can't leave it in the hands of Google or Apple or Facebook or Twitter or Microsoft or any of the other big tech companies. They've never been particularly good at it. So yeah, try to beef up that knowledge, because that knowledge is your power to defend your data sovereignty and your privacy. But yeah.
Word, my friend. Well, I do greatly appreciate, man. And I'll be in touch with you. And if you just want to go ahead and see yourself out, I'll be in touch. I want to get ready to eat after we're done. So I'm ready to get ready to be done.
Yeah, guys, thanks. See you next time.
Have a good one,
everybody.
All right, man. And it was just two of us.
Two.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
We can make it if we try.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, there we
you
go.
And I.
There we go. Oh, look, you can sing in some weird way.
In some weird way.
That wasn't god awful, since that's what you were implying.
Sing pretty good, man.
Well, then sing "Let's Go Bitcoin."
No. I'll slap you, sing.
You got
Let's go.
You got anything you want to add? Any final thoughts?
Are you interviewing Paul from the founder from Doge Dash?
I might be.
I thought you were like yesterday, didn't you? He's a cool guy.
No, I'm going to be interviewing him tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:00 a.m. Pacific Time, and that is Paul Caslin. He is the founder of Doge Dash Game. Go to dogedash.com. What do you want to say about Doge Dash? Because I know that you It looks like here you have a video called "Talking with Doge Dash Mastermind."
Yeah, with Paul. He's a cool guy. He changed my way of thinking on a lot of crypto. He's only been in crypto for like 6 months. So he started this with like just a different way of thinking, man, about like just the game, about marketing, about the future, like a cartoon. And then he has the, developers and everyone on the crypto side, doing the crypto stuff. But I think it's going to be really, really big. Plus, it looks like it's a really cool looking game.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
sure.
he's doing. I think he's doing something with Wendy. With
Yeah.
Crypto Wendy. I think he's doing something with me tomorrow. I think that they're doing at 3:00 Eastern time, if I'm correct. They're doing a token burn and an
I was going
AMA,
to tell you they're doing a
which is
huge
interesting
burn.
because they just launched the token.
They launched token.
I guess
and
they realized they had
massive success. They were like the number 3 trending coin on CoinMarketCap for a couple of days. 300 or more than that, like 600-700x just in days. It was insane. So I think this guy put in, it was like $500 was like worth $1 million after a few days, or like a week and a half.
That is
So
crazy.
he's gonna burn the $1 million worth. I thought they were burning 1 million coins, but they're really burning $1 million worth.
This is not financial advice, and tomorrow's video is a sponsored video, so people are aware. But this does seem very legit. The game has not launched yet, but I'm going to get into all the specifics. I was going to actually watch your interview tomorrow morning.
And it was tough. It was tough because I could have done the interview. It would have been a 20-minute interview if I didn't like him. But we started talking before, and it was, because I'm old. He was like, well, I really like this game. He's like, and then I told him, he's like,
what is he, an actor?
Like the beginning, huh?
Is he an actor?
No, he's the producer of the MTV VMAs, Video Music Awards.
He's the producer of the VMAs?
Yeah, it has been for years.
Okay, because I saw you had the IMDb, but I didn't look and see like any specifics on it. Okay,
I was like, oh, so you've your job is like watching a lot of really hot, famous girls kiss, huh? Because that's usually what the VMAs are. But yeah, no, it was he said that he was, I forget what it was, like his first system, but I was like, man, I was there at the beginning. I played Pong.
I had Pong.
Yeah,
from Activision.
Dude, yeah, and he was like, oh, so you were there for like the Atari and shit. And I was like, yeah, man, I was there for the Atari and shit, man.
So this guy, open-minded Bitcoin, I just want to tell you, you got to like really pay attention to thumbnails, titles, keywords, and things like that. It does help with building your channel. So it all depends. If you're just going to put out a video and not really do a catchy kind of title or keywords that are important or hashtags that are important and a good thumbnail, it's really hard. But
me and Rice were doing our first videos. We were doing them like naked with a little sensor bar,
Who?
That helped. Me and you, yeah.
No, yeah, you wish, but yeah.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah,
if you do naked videos and blur yourself out, it's a guaranteed measure of success for 100%, which is a complete lie. Which is a complete bullshit lie. But dude, I have had an incredibly long day, and I'm really ready for it to be over, in as far as me having to sit in front of a computer and do any work. So anything you want to add aside from what you already did? And I want to remind people that this interview about Doge Dash on my channel will be tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd, 1:00 p.m. Eastern time, 10:00 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah. Check me out on Dragon Chain on their channel on Thursdays. We do the blockchain roundtable. This week is security.
Is that what that World Blockchain thing is? It's on a Dragon Chain channel?
Yeah, on Dragon Chain on their channel. This week is we're going over security. I'm like the dumb guy that says things so like normal people can. That's the nice thing they say, so that everyone can understand. But I'm just the funny dude. Everyone else is really smart. Tuesday is I'm on Litecoin Lisa.
Every other Tuesday, right?
Yeah, every other Tuesday.
So that'll be this coming Tuesday.
That'll be this coming Tuesday.
Word up. Word. The bird is
Is
the
my
word.
game broken?
The bird.
It's just flashing.
The bird.
Bright colors. You see it? It's black. It's red.
Yeah. Is
No
it supposed
screen.
to do that?
Computer, turn off Studio 2.
Okay.
Computer, turn on Studio 2.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Well, it was good hanging out with you, man.
Yeah, it was,
love
dude.
you.
I'll be in touch with you, man. I love you, too. Appreciate
Take care,
it.
you guys.
I encourage
Thanks for
people
watching. Push the like button.
check out
Subscribe.
his channel and check out his interview with Paul from Doge Dash.
Yeah, because I do show a little nipple.
Word. Well, brother, I appreciate. I'm gonna go ahead and play this intro you created to outro us, and I'll see you the same crypto time, same crypto place next week, and all that good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, boy.